You know, I've been around the planet 81 times, air miles, but I've been in most of the continents and most of the interesting places that are still left. And one thing that I did along the way, because I loved it, was buy art. And one of the things I was always fascinated by was masks. But I never had a clue that I would ever be able to use them as a performance tool for myself. Here is a mask from ancient Venice. Now, this is a new version of it, but it's a very classic mask. It's very highly decorated, beautifully painted and whatnot. And it used to have like a snowplow in white that went down to become the mask. As a character, that character was always really confusing. But since I want to use my mouth and my cheeks and have my whiskers show here, it was useful for me to just take the scissors and cut this character off. Now when I look at him in the mirror, I see a character it's clown-like, but this guy has some authority. But if you look at me, you must register on the fact that I'm partly golden around here, and I have quite a formal sort of chapeau on. I should say tutti or something, because I'm Italian, you see, maybe 500 years old. I came forth in the Renaissance, he said, pushing his nose back. And during that time, I had a snowplow nose, which was designed to allow me to eat a lot. Very Italian, yes, of course. But in this case, I am the sort of overseer of the other puppets. I tell you what they're going to do, and they better well do it, because I'm the one who sets it up, and I know best. So I like to use him as one of my sort of key question askers, so he may make announcements and he may make observations, and he does that. Now I have another mask that is also comes out of a completely different tradition, and this is the Halloween tradition. I think you'll recognize this face as Alfred Hitchcock. And I never imagined I could actually cut the chin off on one of these and get the same effect. In fact, it's even scary. It's even more like a face than not. And you remember, Alfred was very droll.
Hello, I could be Alfred Hitchcock. And if I was, and I wanted to scare you, I would tell you I was going to scare you. That's one of the rules. And then the music would go, dum, 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 like that. In this case, in this show, I get to comment on all the other duddies after they've done their bits. And if I'm not excited about it, I'll be sure to say so.
So we're using him as average Dumbo citizen, and as he interacts with the sort of announcer and with all the separate characters themselves. You don't want to be in this too long in the sun. Here, as I mentioned, is the oldest guy in the category, and he's the one who tricked me into understanding what it's like to be half masked. Even though there's not much in puppet history about half masks. They do say masks are used sometimes in ceremonies, and sometimes people talk, but I don't think they mean that the jaw comes off. Well, this old Aleutian bird broke one day, and the jaw was broken, and I love the guy, and so I just kind of straightened off the cut and just held it up to the mirror for a minute and saw what a lovely character he is. He's also an example of a character where I brightened the complexion, I added fake hair, and I built an entire inside using a snow ski goggle strap and padding, because lots of the regular masks don't have indentions for the nose. Well, if you don't want to, feel like you're holding the whole thing up with your nose, you can put in a little artificial indentation here. This is a happy guy. He's easy to tell he's happy, and that's what his job is. So he gets to laugh a lot.
I'm sort of happy with everything. Because I don't think anything's more important than anything else. Yeah, these eyes don't come just with everybody. I'm happy, basically. I got it in the bag. Mostly.
I simply can't wait to turn the lights out on you.
Listen to me, Gonzo. If you've got it in the bag, keep it there, please.
And then I have a guy who's just sort of the other side of the rainbow,
Mr. Evil.
and what's so wicked, insinuated by this is a Balinese mask is the shape of the eyes. I think especially that they're just so sinister, and so for this guy, he begs for a certain special kind of
I'm a character that's sort of I really call nasty. Know what I mean? But in life, we need some nasty people to push us away. Otherwise, we might drown in our own slobber. Ha!
You need to notice what the crowd is ready for before you stick it out again. Put your tongue back.
Mr. Demon, please, the only one who's going to be super awake about you is your orthodontist.
reach around and find another. This is an ancient Hindu mask, and he, in this case, came like this. So I didn't have to saw his lower chin off. So it tells me that the Hindus, in this case, were probably using masks for voices and characters to fit them. And I find him extremely, well, there, dumb, whatever, Festus.
They call me Festus. And I've got a big, fat, yeller face. And I believe in whatever's in front of my face. You know what I'm saying? I was the guy first to ask God to, if I could have a spiritual vehicle. And he said yes, and he gave me a truck. But then I'll talk about spiritual things, and it's kind of easier to swallow. Because I'm so, country easy to get. Never mind my Hindu-ass face mask, which is 700 years old. It don't mean nothing. I'm Festus. I chew, yes, that's right. You can count on it, I chew.
Oh dear boy, you're far too old to be that stupid.
You are simply, my boy, just pathetic.
And because the mask is also yellow, he works better at night. Here's a mask that is, I actually added something to. This was a pretty standard, like a Hanuman mask. He has really interesting open eyes to work with. But I also found a completely rubber mask one day who has an extraordinary quality when I simply attached him to the other. It gives me a chance to put on.
Whoa! Wow! I'm scary. I'm scary, but I don't have many friends. So I like to go to the movies and stuff. And when I do, I have my own kind of popcorn. Oh, yeah. That's awful. God, awful. Like me.
Don't forget to brush.
Look, you want to have more color in your life here, you better eat the whole bag of those things.
And then I have to actually help the jaw along with this little attachment I have down here, so he can talk, eat things, and generally look slovenly. I like that guy. I used him in an outdoor festival one time from the top of a mountain, and he was quite wonderful. This guy has just been through the mill. Now I can tell he's not a new mask because of the age of the wood. At the same time, he was beat up a lot. He lost part of his nose. I don't know what a fire caused his nose to be so dark, but by coloring it up a little and putting some beady eyes on there with tacks, he has a really interesting emotional character. You know, he can be quite confused. I'm never quite sure about who I am or who I'm supposed to be. Damn, I don't know. I was given, well, I used to be a bead cop. But then I lost it somewhere. I lost it. But people feel sorry for me.
Back to drama class 101.
Just what is in front of your face? I think that's quite enough for somebody like you.
And so, in the term, I know shadow puppet is a kind of different term than the shadow puppets were meant to go behind a screen with a light behind that. But in this case, the shadow inside each of us can be dealt with a character like that. And I think that's my cast of characters at the moment. 7 of them at the moment. 2 questioning ones and 5 sort of personalities.